Hello.
We conclude.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Hello, everyone.
For today's leaders. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. So can you please enable me? You've disabled me. Please, I want to be able to share my screen. Kole, can you do that for me, please? Are you trying?
I think he has made you the host.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen now. Okay. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, developing a mind-changing. Okay, thank you very much. Developing a game-changing leader's mindset for business transformation. So that's essentially the topic I have decided that I'll be sharing with you today. So briefly, let's talk about what the past. Can you admit there are two people in the waiting room? Please admit them. What the past perspectives on leadership are would be usually about short-term gains. What can we gain now, right? It's about being, the institution is the center of everything. So it was all internally focused and you had very, very stiff management, bureaucratic organization. So you had the matrix structure. So everything was top to bottom. And the competitive landscape was very, very fierce. So it was all about what was in it for me. And it was all about tangible capitalism. So that was what we had in the past. But this kind of perspective in leadership will not carry us to what we need to do in the future. So what is the new perception that we have for today's why is okay. Now, for the new perspective on leadership, we know that business transformation is an umbrella for making fundamental changes. So what are you going to do to make sure that your organization changes? Yes.
Yeah, so I made you the host, so you're the only one that can admit people. If you transfer the rights back to me, so I can.
Why did you make me the host? I don't have, how do I do that?
Okay, you know what? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me reclaim the host and take it if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, so you can admit people.
Okay. So I think
you can actually make more than one host anyway.
Yes.
I don't co-hosts, but can we continue?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So I was talking about business transformation and what we mean by business transformation. It's all about making fundamental changes in a business or in an organization. And this includes what the processes, the personnel, and the technology that you need to put in place to ensure that things get changed. And these transformations would enable the organization compete more effectively in the marketplace and also to operate in a more efficient manner, and also making wholesale strategic pivot. Now, remember what we said about the past perspective of leadership and short-term gains. Now it has tilted into being long-term in focus. We're talking about what you're going to do to be in business on a sustainable basis. So we're not talking about what we're going to gain now, but how we're going to remain in business and gather gains for the future. Right, so perspective has changed to long-term position and longevity. So we're talking about sustainability. We're talking about ability of business to be in the competitive landscape for a long period, and solidifying the company's business position with today's action. Remember what we said before, that past perspective was being for the company-centric. So all about the company, but now it's more about collaboration. It's more about the community, right? So it's how are you going to accommodate your community in your strategy. So you can't afford to look at yourself. And you know, many international organizations don't just look at what they are doing. When they are rated, they are also rated as according to what there's somebody that is not, I can hear a voice, is disturbing me, please. Can you mute the person that is speaking? Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm old, so I get very distracted when I get other noises coming in. Sorry about that. So it's about what are you also contributing into the community to make sure that your organization is felt as a major contributor to the community within which it operates. And it's all, the social capital is very, very important these days. So we're not just talking about your social corporate responsibility. It's now not CSR, it's actually CSI. What are you investing in the community? And you have agile management. Before, you used to have stiff management. Any organization that wants to succeed in the future has to be very agile, has to continuously develop, relearn, retool, so that you realign yourself with whatever the rapidly changing environment is. So you can't afford to be stiff, you can't afford to be narrow focused, you have to be nimble and continuously change, because the environment, the landscape is changing all the time. So your management also has to be very, very agile. And there is no point pursuing perfection. It is only God that is perfect. So you have to, change, make mistakes, correct the mistakes, and just go on. So, but people have to continuously have the creative and innovative mind in place. We have what you call the helix structure. Before, you used to be very, very bureaucratic. You had the matrix structure, I said top to bottom. But now, it's a relaxation. Some organizations have actually flattened their organizational structure. So you don't have the MD, the DMD, the whatever. So places like Google, for example, everybody is deemed to be an equal, right? So the organization is really, really very flat, and that is what is happening in today's competitive landscape. So there's relaxation of rigid structure. So things are more democratic. So you listen to what your subordinates have to say, because they say two good heads are better than one. So it's very, very fluid, and people are more welcoming of superiors and subordinates coming to the table with ideas that are debated. And it doesn't matter where the idea is coming from. A better idea always has to give room to a good idea. And we now have what the collaborative stance is. And you review the marketplace with a win-win. win-win mindset. Before, it used to be, what is in it for me? Now it is, what can you and I benefit? There is no point you winning and I losing. I feel cheated, or I win, you lose. We feel cheated. But these days, organizations are saying that I am looking at the best interest of my customer. So when my customer is happy, I am happy, and we make more money from satisfied customers. And lastly, we're talking about intellectual capitalism. Now, it is all about what you bring to the table. It is all about the environment that will be operates under these days. It's knowledge based. So what are you bringing to the table? It's a knowledge-based economy, and more formal degrees do not mean too much. And that is why when young people want to go into universities these days, yes, you have your GCSE, but the top schools will ask that, apart from these academic qualifications, what else can you do? It can be in terms of sports, it can be in terms of your contribution to society, it can be in terms of your creativeness and things like that. So it is not just about the academic qualification that you bring to the table. So a leader has to look at other things apart from qualification. And we know the best creative minds these days in the world didn't finish their formal education. And we all know about the story of Bill Gates and I'm not sure about Mike Zuckerberg, but most of them do not have, all your PhDs and things like that. You might not need it. And even in Nigeria, I will not name our names. Some of the most brilliant CEOs, do not have excellent degrees. Some left universities with third class. No, not everybody will be like a Harvard that I call him an overachiever that did very well, an accountant, 2-1 and triple masters and things like that. But there's some very, very good CEOs in banking industry that I will not mention them, that graduated with third class. So your academic qualification at times is not determinant of how you can perform in the future. So now it's a knowledge-based economy, and you're going to be looking at what would you bring to the table. Now, let's talk about, sorry, I'm coming. Now, for business transformation, and everybody, we know that, I was telling you that most of my my meetings are now virtual. So we know that COVID has helped shape the mindset of leaders these days. So the way we do business is totally different from how you were doing business about two and a half years ago. So the first thing that a leader has to look at is that this COVID-19 has disrupted so many things, right? So, and businesses and leadership also have to be transformed to be able to cope with to be able to cope with the disruption that we have seen. It has changed the way businesses are run, with the way business leadership is being looked at now and also in the foreseeable future. And if you're a smart leader, you have to adapt your strategies to be able to fit into the changing environment. And these are some of the things that a smart leader has to look at when we're talking about business transformation. There's the need to sharpen emotional intelligence. And this is where what we call EQ, right? So not IQ, not SQ, not your intelligence quotient or your social quotient, but your emotional quotient. And more, we're seeing that, can you give me 1 minute, please? Please draw the curtain, I can't see it. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, please.
Okay, please. Thank you very much. So now business leaders have to be more and more aware of the emotional status of their employees. You know, it's no longer embarrassing to say, oh, I need help. It's no longer embarrassing. Before, you keep everything inside and you don't want to appear weak and say, oh, I'm struggling, I need help, oh, I can't cope, there's too many, I'm stressed. But now people are becoming more and more tolerant of people's emotional mindset. And that is why, as a leader, we need to be aware of our employees' struggles and be more empathic as to their situation. Some people do not like the idea of standing in or sitting in front of their computer from 9 to 5. Some people are social animals. Some people don't mind it. I don't mind it. I have some of my cousins that say they don't even want to go back to their office space. But some people actually love being in the company of others. And we have found that this lack of social interaction has actually affected some people negatively. So as leaders, you need to be more aware of what people are going through, show them empathy. So, as a leader, you need to read what people's mindsets are. So somebody, you say good morning to somebody and the person bursts out crying. You should know that that person has made issues. So anything to be embarrassed about. And you need to be aware of that. And before we say that you have to build trust, right? That building trust was very important. Now it is essential. You have to ensure that your members of staff, right, your subordinates and your superiors trust you, right? Build trust has deeper importance these days, and the action of leaders must show their employees that they care about them, they care about what they are going through, and they are not just a means to an end. So they're they are human beings and they care about them. And it is just not about speaking, it is about showing them, right? And you have to determine ways of showing them. So that is why people, right, even if you are working remotely, there are ways that you can bring your staff together as teams to do some team activities. There is also the increased focus on shared purpose. And with teams working remotely, employees need an anchor to get a sense of connection. And leaders will therefore need to help their employees reconnect with their work. And this sense of purpose will make sure that people come together to... Okay, I thought somebody was asking something. So that the people should come together with a common purpose to achieve a common objective. And the last one is about taking tough decisions, right? A leader has to be able to take tough decisions. One of the toughest decisions I had to take when I was in Guarantee Trust is to cancel people out. Nobody wants to tell anybody, a grown-up man, that please don't come to work the next day. Please go and drop your resignation letter because you're not performing. It's very, very difficult to talk to people. And people's reactions are very different. Some people will be in shock and they will be looking at you that, excuse me, what did you say? Some people will burst out crying and some people will be very, very angry. So yes, you have to take the tough decisions, but you have to put yourself in a position that just while you're taking the tough decision, but Always treat your customer with a human face and let them know that, yes, it's tough, but the organization takes precedence, and you have to learn to take these tough decisions. And, at times, things are not happening. Your organization is not getting clients, so you're not making money. So you might need to lay off some staff. So it depends on the way you tell people. So make sure that when you tell people, they're not, for example, you're going to lay off. One thing that Access does very well is that when we're going to lay off, we give them a soft cushion. Some actually we retrain. We offer them retraining programs. Some get offered maybe some months or even up to a year's salary, but just provide a cushion that will help them, will tide them over until they find something else to do. But when these tough decisions need to be made, you have to be there and make those decisions responsibly. So what are the trends in transformational leadership in 2020 and beyond, right? So a game-changing leader must be able to successfully initiate and execute organizational transformation by aligning the 3 Ps. We all know the 3 Ps. You have to be purpose-driven, performance-driven, and principles-driven, right? So when we're talking about purpose, right, research has shown often that the workplace is more motivated and driven by institutions with great sense of purpose. For example, when we were in GT, we had, I think at the end of our 5th year, we usually have 5-year budgets, right? 5-year, what do they call it? Strategy, yes, 5-year strategy. And after our first 5 years, the most profitable bank at that time in Nigeria was Citibank. And we said we wanted to beat Citibank. And that before the end of the year, we wanted to beat Citibank. And everybody, bar none, had that at the back of their mind. So every screensaver had beat Citibank. So as a marketing person, how am I going to make sure that I beat Citibank? As an operations person, how am I going to beat Citibank? As a security man, how am I supposed to beat Citibank? So everybody, okay, for operations, I'm going to make sure that I process flawlessly, turnaround time as cheaply as possible. Marketing, I'm going to write my credits very, very quickly. I'm going to be innovative in structuring. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. The security man, I'm going to make sure that my customers are welcome. The cleaner, everybody. So everybody had this sense of purpose. Beat Citibank. And because we all aligned with the strategy, guess what? We did beat Citibank. And I stand to be corrected. Guaranteed Trust Bank was the first bank to make 1 billion in profits. And it was just because there was a purpose and everybody was driven towards achieving that purpose. And tied to purpose-driven is also performance-driven. So performance and purpose need not be in naira or monetary terms. So your purpose can be in achieving a certain objective, and the performance is in achieving that objective. So it can be, oh, I want to look after this community, right? So whatever your performance is, what doesn't get measured doesn't get done. So what are those things that you're going to put in place to make sure that you measure the performance? So fast-changing operating environment requires that leaders build resilient and agile organizations in order to have good performance over a long period consistently. And that is what GT and Zenith has been able to do. And Access has been actually tremendous. The growth of Access has been tremendous compared to all other banks. So, and like I said, what doesn't get measured doesn't get done. So you have to put yourself and say, okay, this is what I'm going to achieve, how I'm going to achieve it, and put some flexibility and resilience in your strategies to ensure that you achieve this. And lastly, you have to have principles. So the principles-driven organizations are often characterized by transparency and fairness. And the work ethics, the work culture will be the key performance, or will be the key in future businesses. So when you have principles, right, you know what it is acceptable in your organization and what is not acceptable. For example, sorry, I keep going back to Guarantee Trust. I was a pioneer staff of Guarantee Trust Bank, and I worked there for a number of years. And also Access has started on the board for 12 years. So those are the two examples that I'm going to be giving all the time. So if I keep talking about GT and Access, please accept my apology. So principles is all about saying that, okay, this is what is acceptable and this is not, and you don't change it for anything. Right from day one, when Guarantee Trust Bank was founded, we said we will not give whatever you call it, be it brokerage, be it facilitation, be it tip or anything, that we will always do our things in the most ethical of manners. Yes, we might not get all the deposits that we should have gotten, right? So, and that was why it was very, very difficult for us to penetrate into the public sector. But we did penetrate, but instead of getting that 2 billion, we probably get the 200 million just for our intelligence and bringing things to the table. So all members of staff have to know what you stand by, what your core values are, and let them remain unshakable. I remember as divisional head of Southwest, we went to one of the Southwest states. We had just opened, and we went to see the commissioner for finance. And the commissioner said, "Oh, fantastic, I like GT. So let me, I'll open an account for you, but all you need to do is to do what my present bankers do for me." And his present bankers were Gulf Bank. They'll give me 2 million at the end of each month. I mean, I don't care where your 2 million comes from. So the governor takes an amount, the commissioner takes an amount, the AG takes an amount. And I said there and then, "I'm sorry, we can't do that." And the man just froze me out. And, you know, he wouldn't even accept appointments anymore. And later I heard he said I was arrogant because I didn't even tell him I would think about it. I just said no outright. I knew what the organization stood for. So what am I thinking of? Right? So it's not something that we would even consider. So why am I stringing in along? So yes, it might be difficult initially, but sooner or later, people will know you for who you are, and after a while, they will respect you. So a game-changing leader must be able to combine all these things, and they will achieve transformation through the alignment of all those 3 Ps. Now, for you to be a transformational leader, you have to have all these things in place, right? Just 1 minute, please. Have I skipped something? Okay, no, I haven't. So you need to have all these things in place. You have to have a combination of strategy and informed ambition, right? So there's no point saying, "Oh, I want to achieve this," whereas you don't have the resources to achieve. Yes, you have to have the strategy, but it also has to be informed, and it has to be something that is realistic, but it's very ambitious. We call them BHAG, you know, big, hairy, audacious goals. That is what you set for yourself. So if you say, "I'm going to make 100 billion from, let's say 30 billion. If you don't make the 100 billion, you make 70 or 80 billion. It's better than you say, "Okay, I'm going to make 40 million from 30 million, right? So you have to stretch yourselves. Yes, we call them stretch goals. So that's what a transformational leader. And you have to also invest in developing talents in your organization. A lot of organizations have what you call fast track for their very, very brilliant members of staff. So you put them on the program. So those are the people that you'll be sending on international programs. You'll be giving them responsibilities and things like that. But that doesn't mean that they will stay with you forever. And again, that is why it is not good for you to just focus on just one person. So it's better for you to focus on a pool of people. So if 1 or 2 people leave, you have other people, right? Also be very, very agile and flexible. So this is all about being able to respond to changing environments in a very, very quick manner. Build in sustainability. So this is where you build in slack. So like I said, just don't train one person because that's your high flying person. Train a few people. Some might not be as good as that one high flyer, but build in sustainability because you want to be in existence for the long run and drive value, right? I have a school, and any teacher of mine that his students score A, I give them money. So it is, for me, it is motivation. It is encouraging performance. So I had a teacher presented 13 students, and 15 students, and out of his 15 students, 13 got A and A+. So obviously he was my teacher for the year, and he got a lot of money as bonus. Right? So make sure that the organization drives value and lead with capabilities. Ensure that your people lead with both knowledge and wisdom. So you have to combine the two. Knowledge and wisdom is very important. So a strong program leader should have the influence and credibility to drive people along. And that is why we say that a transformational leader also is there with his people. And I'll talk about a little bit about this. Let's go on. So you have the essential mindsets that a game-changing leader has to have. He has to be an explorer, right? And who is an explorer? An explorer is that person that is curious, open to new ideas, is agile enough to respond to changing situations, and when the original plan fails, he is very, very dexterous in changing and saying, okay, we have hit this roadblock. How can we go another route to be able to get to our goal? And this mindset forces pursuit of new ideas, products and services, and methods of changing things. It also means that you are a perpetual learner. You're continuously learning and you're changing. So you're an explorer. In the good old days of GT, we were actually explorers. And I remember at a meeting, right, we were complaining that, banks copied our products very, very quickly. And Fola asked, would you rather be an innovator or somebody who copied? And you say, okay, we'll be the innovator. And remember that when you innovate, it's very, very, you can create something, but other people can copy what you have created. So you have to continuously learn to make sure that you're on top of your game all the time. A game-changing leader also has to be a chef, right? This is the person that puts all the curry and Maggi and everything together to make sure that the soup is sweet. So leaders of transformation need to balance two most important ingredients in any business. That is humanity and technology, right? A lot of people say, okay, robots are going to take place of human being after a while. But there is no economy. Yes, you have robots, right? But they're still going to be controlled by the human person. So you have to have the two. And the chef also is the person that will be able to combine the ingredients that you need for success in the most optimal way. The mindset of a game-changing leader is also that of a servant. And successful transformational leaders will be on the ground, working with their employees in the trenches, right? And lifting their people up. Leaders with this mindset recognize their employees' work and make them feel valued and engaged. I like the beginning of GT because it just shows a lot of stories of how good businesses have to be run. When we're converting from manual, we started, we opened our doors real time online, but there were some accounts that we had opened before doors, business doors actually opened. And so we had manuals that had to be converted. All members of staff, including Fola and Tayo, were the ones posting. So they didn't sit in their office and say, you people go and post, right? And again, remember that in the good old days of Guaranteed Trust Bank, from Fola to Tayo, you would self-tell at least once a month, right? So you had guest tellering, and it's all about, see, there is no work that is too dirty. And when we're changing from SDS on Blue to the basis that we did, every member of staff will be involved. So when there are problems, the boss will know that these are the challenges that people are facing. When I became the group head for settlement, I hadn't done operations. Domestic operations was okay for me because as an auditor, it's like accounting, like it's like a bookkeeping. But foreign operations, LC from M, I had no clue, right? As to the processing, yes, I'll take my from M of LC to be processed as head of corporate bank, but I wasn't sure about, I wasn't that involved in the processing. So when I became head, because I needed to understand what I was approving, I spent a month on the shop floor. So the person, I say it all the time, the person who taught me how to approve Form M was an ET at that time. So I moved from the Form MS to approving LCs, looked at whatever needed to be looked at and things like that. So I was in the trenches, so I understood whatever problems my staff encountered. And lastly, the mindset of a game-changing leader has to be that of a global citizen. And to succeed in the future, leaders must adopt the mindset of a global citizen. You have to be everywhere and anywhere that you find yourself. It comes down to being able to lead effectively wherever you are, right? Like I said, I'm not in Nigeria, and these days you can be anywhere to lead, and it doesn't even matter where you are anymore. You can be called upon. I remember I went to train access in Côte d'Ivoire, and the staff said I should teach them in French, and I said no. Number one, I don't speak French. Number two, you are an international organization. Yes, today you're in Côte d'Ivoire. Tomorrow, we can take you to Rwanda. Next tomorrow, you can find yourself in Senegal. Next tomorrow, you can find yourself in Gambia or in Nigeria. So you have to be a global citizen. So a global citizen, you have to have that mindset and that adaptability to be able to operate. So you can actually find yourself in China, in Hong Kong. Right, so you have to be very, very flexible and have to be adaptable to people's culture. You have to be respectful of their religion, of their departments, of different things. So be very, very open-minded. Right. So let's talk a little bit about challenges that driving business and transformation face. Then the first one is business models need to be reimagined. You have to reimagine business models because what happened before may not be what we need to happen now. So we're moving from a product economy to a service economy, and more. And some businesses have actually thrived now during this pandemic. The logistic businesses are having it fantastic. We that are even trainers, we had to, overnight just rearrange ourselves and say, okay, how are we going to ensure that we can train virtually? And now everybody is a pro at this virtual trainings. There also traditional battlefields are being redrawn by competitors. If incumbent leaders do not leverage on technology and digitization to their advantage, then they will be left in the lurch, because everybody is now digital. So you have to ensure that you are in a competitive landscape. So your new competitors are very, very different. So before you can go into shops to buy your things, all these big supermarkets have now decided, in supermarkets, eating houses, they've now discovered that if they're looking for clients to come into their supermarkets or into their eateries and things like that, then they might not find customers. So they have had to, partner with delivery companies to be able to deliver their foods. So we have to have that. Then transformation requires a modern organizational structure that cultivates innovation and encourages creativity. So instead of starting with an overhaul of legacy company culture, some companies start by creating separate incubator where innovation can thrive. In Access, for example, we have the fintech that is completely and totally different from the core Access bank. Right, their office is different, their working styles are different. So you find them, some have dreadlocks, right? They don't, obviously, no suits, so some can wear their tata jeans. Even the way their offices are arranged, so they have, if you envision how Google and Microsoft are, so you have sofas, you have, we actually had like spaces where if you want to sleep, some of them, you just lie down and they're thinking and things like that. So that is how organizations will be in the future. So you also have to realign yourself. So if you can't put it in your main businesses for now, maybe have somewhere other side that will help. And new talents will not respond to old ways of doing people. You are very radical, and your ways of thinking is different from how my generation. But the same way you're different from my generation, the incoming generation will be different from your own generation. So the new normal has accelerated adoption of digital, right? Unfortunately, since all of you are engineers, it's going to be very, very easy for you. And leaders need to embrace new reality, focusing on hiring talents who are tech savvy and also can help accelerate business transformation. And the game-changing leader is key. Is a key advocate for changes and is instrumental to setting and establishing prerequisites for successfully exciting transformations, and how these transformations, the strategy that is needed to achieve the transformation. And these are some of the key qualities that I think a game-changing leader should possess to overcome. So it has to be a futurist. So the futurist does not just adjust to react to trends. They are proactive in setting the trends, and they are the ones that shape the future and they lead the change. The futurists come through the cone of possibilities. So it's like a cone, and that one now sieves all the ones that you can work on and with positive potential outcome. He is also the translator. So he has to have, very, very good communication skills. one thing about Fola, he's an orator. Fola can sell coal to people in China or tea to people in China, right? So he is an orator, and there's some people who are very, very good at selling and things like that. So more and more communication is very, very important. And communication it will help you also build bridges between people. And leaders must learn how to cut through the noise to communicate effectively in a way that gets people's attention immediately and moves them to action. And while he's communicating, right, speaking to make sure they act, but he's also an effective listener. So he's listening, and he's also listening for the unspoken words, for the innuendos, and he's looking at, okay, this is how, he's also listening and looking and checking out body languages. So you tell somebody to go and do this thing, something, and he says, okay, that's okay. If you want, I will try. But even from the body language, you'll see, and you say, okay, I see that you're not really. Can you tell me what the issue are? What the issue is? Why I like physical meetings is that you can read people's body language, right? When I train, I see confusion, and I said, okay, Collie, I see question mark on your face, and you haven't said anything, but I see confusion on your face. What is it? So let me know. And even when I was board chairman, you will see some people that are not really contributing, and you say, I think you have something to say. So let me see what you have to say. Okay. So it has to have the combination of the communication, speaking, but also you have to be able to listen. And I think being a coach is very, very important as a leader. So transformational leaders must be great coaches. And this means that you have to know how to motivate, engage, and inspire people. And you also have to create leaders, right? But I say you can't teach what you don't know. So a transformational leader has to know. I make it, I'm proud to say, when I was in the bank, and I sit my relationship managers down, I say, I will teach you so that you can teach your subordinates. But I can't teach what I don't know. So if you have to learn yourself. And it's not all the time that people will teach you. You teach yourself, right? Engage in self-studies and things like that. And lastly, we've talked a lot about tech savvy. Anybody that is not tech savvy these days, even me old school, have to be tech savvy. And most of you are tech natives anyway. We have to have adjusted ourselves. But everybody has to be, even my on the board of MTN, Mr. Okoro is 84. He had to learn tech, right? We had one, an old Alaji. His daughter initially would be helping him, but now he's the one doing it himself, right? So everybody has to be tech savvy if you want to move on. So I just want to quickly conclude my presentation by giving you two examples of transformational leadership. The first one, as a transformational leader, is Alan Mulally. And I'm not sure if you know him, but he was the CEO of Ford. And he left the successful transformation of Ford. When he took over Ford, Ford was a loss maker. And, he was vice president of Boeing before. Then he joined Ford as CEO. Ford was in trouble, and the demand for its product was decreasing, and they were losing money and market share. So in turning Ford around, he brought purpose-driven, performance-focused, and principles-led leadership. So he brought all these 3 Ps. One thing that I really enjoyed learning about him was that when he joined, he said, look, Taurus was the highest selling brand that Ford had, and it was scrapped. So he didn't understand why you would sell your highest selling brand. So the first thing he did was to bring Taurus Bank. And you know, he took over in 2006. Then in 2007, he mortgaged all Ford's assets. He borrowed to the hills. He borrowed, I think, I'm not sure if it's about 23.6 billion. Mortgaged all Ford's, and people were saying, "You're crazy! How can you mortgage all the assets of your company?" Then what happened was 2007 came, and you know, the Chrysler GM went to the federal government, to the government for bailout. And he said no, he wasn't going to take a bailout, that he put his mouth where he put his money where his mouth was. And he said, if he actually went to take government bailout money, they should reduce his salary to $1 per annum. That was the conviction that he had, that he would not take government money. And guess what? When Chrysler and where's Chrysler today, and where is Chrysler and what's the name of the other company? Chrysler. So it was Chrysler, Ford, and there was another, GM, General Motors. GM and Chrysler actually eventually became bankrupt, and it was only Ford. And they were now saying, oh, because the money he borrowed was enough to re-engineer, retool the processes, and also left a sufficient cushion for him to be able to build on. So they were now saying, oh, it was actually genius of him to have done that. But he couldn't have done that without vision, without purpose, and without conviction and commitment. So he had what you call the Ford way. So he created the roadmap, Ford creating roadmap, and he outlined the Ford way vision, and it's collective leadership and individual accountability. So yes, this is what we want to achieve, but each person was going to be individually accountable for its own segment, right? To ensure that the organization, remember when I said this bank, everybody had their own individual targets to make sure that the organizational target was achieved. Then he also created a sense of purpose. You know, it was like an oxymoron, urgency and patience, right? Urgency, let's quickly do this. But when you don't achieve, let's see it, because we're looking at the long term. He's had what you call the developmental coach, and relentless performance and drive. So he will coach you, but he also expected you to perform. And that was what I tried to do. And he was also a student as well as a teacher, right? Yes, a student in that he listened to people, but he was also a coach, telling them that you can do this. And he was also a servant and a change catalyst. Yes, I will be in the trenches for you, but I'm also a change agent. So for Alan, love was an important part of his leadership style, right? He was a very, very empathic person, and he believed that the workforce, what the workforce can do individually, and when you treat your people with respect, with love, they will want to give their all to the organization. And he was able to turn around Ford from a loss of 12.7 billion in 2006 to a profit of 7.2 in 2013. That is what a transformational leader can achieve. And the other one that I want to talk about is Billy Bean. I'm not sure if you know Billy Bean, but Billy Bean when he was playing baseball, he's an American baseball player and very successful. And he says that being a visionary and busting myths are core. So you have to be a visionary, and busting myths are core attributes to transformation, to transformational leadership. And when Billy Bean retired as a baseball player, he was made the vice president of Oakland Athletics. A lot of you, when you see a baseball hat that has A as the logo, that is the Oakland baseball athletics franchise. Right? When he became the manager, he discovered that they had very, very lean budget, so they couldn't afford to pay top dollar for the bright stars that, during the baseball season, the coaches will go to watch students play football, so that they will pick them in what they call drafts. So the best ones are picked by the most the organizations that had big purses, right? So to say, but Oakland Athletics didn't have a big purse, so they were not able to pick the top. But he now did, with his friend, came up with a strategy using statistics to predict how a performer would do, right, in the future. So it's like using some algorithms and things like that, and they were very, very successful. So the players that were not in the lifeline, but they had plotted that would be very good in the future, they were able to buy cheaply. And from the way they predicted, those players actually now performed very, very well. And this is what actually formed the, I'm not sure if any of you have seen the movie Moneyball that Brad Pitt actually played the part of Billy Bean, and I've forgotten the name of his his partner that came up with this. And so the Oakland Athletics baseball went from a third tier franchise to a tier 1 franchise, winning major baseball series and major trophy league trophies. So this is what a transformation now leader. So he has said that if I go on this track, I will not be able to succeed. So what can I do to be able to succeed? And they came up with these mathematical calculations and statistical calculations to predict the future. And a lot of organizations are using those models to predict how people will perform in the future. So this is the example of what a transformational leader can do. Fola and Tayo, in my opinion, are also transformational leaders, because a lot of things that are commonplace in the banking industry was actually pioneered by Guaranty Trust Bank. Guaranty Trust Bank was the one that pioneered 3 minutes turnaround. Let anybody come and argue with me. Guaranty Trust Bank was the one that pioneered real-time online a letter of credit. At that time, we were the one that wrote the central bank that said, okay, why are we putting money down for letter of credit? Our customers can get credit. And that is why ITLC came into being, the term letter of credit and things like that. So we are pioneers of a lot of things. Central bank used to fine Guaranty Trust Bank for not having cubicles for their tellers. And for that, we say, no, I'm not going to have cubicles that I don't have monkeys that let my people be. So no, how about if they stole their monies? I said, no, I have professionals, they will not steal their monies. So for a number of years, they used to penalize us, but guess what? After a while, all banks started it. So you have to stay the course. And at times, the visionary leader will pay the price so that other people would benefit later on. I think Igan and Herbert are also transformational leaders. Look at where Access was, number 85 out of 100 banks in Nigeria. And now is the biggest in terms of asset size and customer base. So if you have the leader, if you are purpose driven and you have commitment, you can achieve what you have, what you want to do. So that is my presentation, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I have been able to share my thoughts with you, and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma. We are honored, and honestly, I don't know what to say. People have been chatting me; they have enjoyed the session so much. By the way, PowerPoint. So a lot of people have reached out to me to ask for the PowerPoint now. So, I'm rest assured I'll send it to them.
Okay, I'll send it to you. Send me your email. I'll send it to you.
Okay, ma'am. I'll do that. So let's go to questions and answers now. Question, just raise your hand. I'll call you so you can ask your question. And a couple of people have actually sent in chats. Olumide Obasemo, okay, he was trying to confirm the story of Alan Mulally, and he sent us the link to the book on Amazon. So those who are interested in buying the book, The Fight to Save Ford Motor Company.
Yes, it's a very interesting read. You can. I actually enjoy. I didn't read the whole book, but I just read snippets. Fala has trained me for that. All this Harvard Business School executive summary. Just do the executive summary, you get the whole story. It is only the ones that I'm really interested in that I buy, but it's very interesting. You should read it. I actually enjoy reading autobiographies of very successful people these days, so that's all I read. So be it local or international, I like that.
Yeah. Okay. In fact, when you're talking about the story of knowing what the organization stands for and going to a Southwest company, I just can't burst into stuff. Was there? I know that day in that time. I don't want to mention the town. Waliola when I was there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You see, it's not good to lie because somebody will know the story somewhere.
Yeah, I was serving then the Waliola when, so that they just came.
You're very right.
My additional ID is coming and all of that, and I was like,
yes.
So he came back and said, "Wow, can you imagine what happened?" That the man was very annoyed. So, well, that is just to buttress that story. Is here. I would like you to ask you. Auntie Mo like ladies, and when she came in, she first wanted to know how many ladies are on this call. So, Nikki, I want to ask a question.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, and put on your video while you're speaking.
Okay, ma.
Hi. Good evening.
Yeah. So I have a few questions. My first question is about you mentioned staff training, about identifying your best staff or so, and devoting some time to training them. But I've always had this question, this Pareto principle that says that 20% of your people deliver 80% of your products, profits, etc. I've always wondered what we're supposed to do with the remaining 80%. Do we ignore them? What do we do with the 80% that bring in the remaining 20%?
The 80% are not useless. They are important for the organization to start to continue to exist. What it says that, okay, you let go. It's only the operation, it's only the marketing people that will bring in the money, right? So the operations are supposed to support, right? But even in this marketing, it's not everybody that would make all the money. So there will be some that will make a little bit of money. There will be some that will make losses. There will be some organization, there will be some products that you render at a loss because of other things that you're going to be benefiting from them. So you can't say, okay, these 80 people go. No, because those 80 people are actually also still supporting the 20% that are making the money. Do you understand what I'm saying? For example, in most organizations, treasury makes a lot of money. But you can't now say because of treasury is making money, you won't have corporate bank, you won't have risk management, you won't have operations, you won't have this. No, you will still have them. Okay, but obviously because they are making a lot of money, and when I'm saying that you identify them, don't also make it blatant, because once you make it blatant, their heads get swollen, right? There will be some ways that you be compensating them. So maybe sending them on courses and giving them responsibilities. And that will say, I said, don't just focus on one individual. Focus on a group of individuals, because that one individual can leave you. A lot of you young people, your next best place is now Canada. Everybody is going to Canada. So if I have trained you, you are going to Canada. What do I do? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We won't neglect the 80%, because the 80% are still important, right, in our organization.
Okay. Can I ask my next question now?
Sure.
Okay, my next question is really directed at you. What would you say? What would you say was your toughest career decision, and how do you know that you took the right decision, or what made you believe that?
Honestly, I think it was when I was going to leave the bank. I was an executive director, and salary was very good, right? And we said, oh, okay, if I leave now, how am I going to earn what I'm earning, right? Would I be able to sustain my lifestyle and things like that? But because I'm a very conservative person, God has really blessed me. My needs are very, very minimal. My mom always said, Matthew Kamewa Joan. So I've always had the savings culture. I had a house, I had enough money. But if I didn't take that bold step, right, it was, okay, should I go? Should I go? But fortunately for me, I didn't really sorry, I didn't really like Ibadan, right? So it made my decision to leave a little bit easier. Perhaps if I had still been in Lagos, I would have stayed a little longer. But with benefit of hindsight, I'll probably have done a year or two more, and I will go. Because guess what? When Shogun became the the MD, it's not likely that I'll still remain in the bank. Even if I didn't want to go, he will fire me now, because he was so junior to me. He can't work with me, because I mean, I should expect to be fired. I might not want to go, but he will fire me. I love you, Auntie Mo, but sorry, I want to be able to talk to somebody I can, So yeah, at that time it was difficult, but it was difficult. But I think. Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was muted.
Yeah, so I did that mistakenly. I was trying to.
Okay. So I was saying another difficult period was when I was going to leave audit for banking, because I had stayed in audit for quite a while and I was already senior. I was an assistant manager, and all the banks that I applied to said I didn't have banking experience. So the decision was, okay, if you're going to go, would you take a salary cut and a level cut? And after a while, I said yes. So when I changed from Coopers, I went into Continental Merchant Bank. I took not only a salary cut, but a level cut, because at that time I was really tired. So those were the difficult, but with hindsight, they turned out to be a good decision. So that is why I don't want to start preaching. I think it is very, very good to pray for God to direct your to direct your steps, because at times you might not understand, but you just find yourself somewhere. And alhamdulillah, for me, it turned out well.
Thank you, ma. I
You're
have a
welcome.
third question, but can I
Nick,
get
let somebody else,
I
unless
don't want to.
somebody
I
else
don't
is
want to
not.
overdo it, ma. I don't
Thank
want to
you.
overdo it, ma. Thank you,
Thank
ma.
you. You're very welcome.
Okay. Though I don't have any other question in yet, but
So
let me
Nick,
just ask my
go
own.
on.
Let me ask my own. As in,
Okay.
at times we have discussions like this. You know, when I started, Auntie Mo is a woman of many firsts. So at times it might sound like maybe you fell from the sky, or your dad was the president of Nigeria. That's what enabled you. So can you just go back a little to the beginning, as in your upbringing, and what motivated you to achieve all this?
They say not be by power, not be by might, not by grace, or special grace of God. See, I come from a middle class family, nothing special. My father was an accountant, right? He worked in UAC, then he set up his own accounting firm. My mother was a confidential secretary. We went to the best schools. I went to a lady private school. I went to ISI. I went to UI. So normal, average family. For me, I just tried my best, right? When I was growing up, I was very, very shy, very, very shy, exceedingly shy, shy to the point that, when people came to our house to visit, I'll just disappear into my room. I didn't make friends. I made very, very few friends, but I'm a ride or die person, right? But I think the older I got, the more comfortable I got with myself. And it's like, if you don't like me, too bad. No, not everybody can like it. So I just tried my best at each point in time in my career. That is what I tell people. Try your best, do your best, because you don't know who is watching and where that will get you in the future. When I was in Continental Merchant Bank, we had an ED, Mr. Yarrow. So I had an approval. So my boss, Mr. Wright, said I should take the approval to Mr. Yarrow to sign. And he said, who are you? So after he had signed, I said, my name is Mosun. He said, oh, I don't know you, but I know your work, right? And he called me back and gave me a perfume. And for me, that was how I operated. People didn't know me, but they knew that I could do good work. But these days, it is not enough for people not to know you. People have to be able to put a face to a name. Because when we started, there were not too many people. Now there are too many of you. So there are too many people who are good. So you have to be visible. People have to see you that, okay, this is Kunle. And when they're talking about Kunle Adebanjo, they know who Kunle Adebanjo is. Right? So I've just been fortunate to be in places that I was recognized. When we started GT, we were a few women, right? I'm not somebody who jumps from place to place. In my 30-year working life, I left university, I'm a young girl. I left university about 44 years ago, right? So I worked about 30-something odd years. But in my 30-something odd years, I only worked in 3 places, right? So I'm not somebody who jumped from place to place, wanting the next level. So I believe that when you work and you put in your best and you pray, God has a way of rewarding your hard work, right? So when we joined, a lot of, I wasn't the most senior when we joined. I think there was Stella Dollum, maybe a couple of us were managers and things like that. But I stayed and I was consistent, right? And I'm somebody who will do her best without waiting to be applauded, right? So when EDs were being made, the first set of EDs, I was their senior. I was a 2-year-old GM. Shagun Agbaje was an AGM. Herbert was a DGM. I was a DGM. So I was their senior. And people will say, oh, Antimo, oh, yeah, I'm long, you know, but truly, I just thought it is not my time. I didn't come to the bank with anybody. And when it's time, God will tell me it is time. Even for last brothers will call me, Antimo, tissue, his friends. And I will laugh. It was Tayo that called me, came to my office when the EDs were made. He said, Antimo, are you upset? I said, no. But people don't believe me that I'm not upset. He said, don't let anybody let you make the wrong decision. He said, the salary is good. He said, look, me, I'm still a DMD, right? I've been the DMD for, at that time, maybe about 9 years. And I'm still a DMD. Now, when they are calling MDs, Femi Pedro, we started the bank together. So Femi Pedro was a senior manager. I was DMD. Femi Pedro was MD of Atlantic Bank. Chikambonu was deputy manager. I was DMD. Chikambonu was MD Citizen. Kola Ayaya was my manager. He was MD National Bank. So he mentioned the names. He says, when they are calling MDs, I can't go. They will go. But does that make me any less of a person than they? When they see me, they respect me because I know my worth. And I said, I know my worth. So we had 3 EDs. When Fola and Tayo are not in the country, who do you think had the power of attorney to approve credits? This same GMO that had EDs. So the EDs will come for credit approval to this same. So just know your worth. And when it is your time, if you scheme till kingdom come, if God says it's not your time, it is not. Just be ready. Get yourself prepared. And when it is your time, people will see you. When I was made chairman, the first thing I said, who am I? Nobody knows me. I don't know anybody now. But it is God that will say, hey, am I competent? My CBN approval came within 48 hours. And I was asking the company secretary, did you apply before? He said, no, they just applied. So maybe they knew me and things like that. So just do your work as best as you can. At times, your best is good enough, but also know that at times your best is not good enough. Be satisfied and be comforted. I have tried my best, right? And just leave it like that. I'm not saying don't struggle. I'm not saying be complacent and say, okay, I'm not going to work hard. I work damn hard. Excuse my French. I work very, very hard, right? But I'm also not somebody who would do or die. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, alhamdulillah, it's not meant to be. I'm a very, very content person, and I don't aspire to ride. If I get a private jet, I'll go inside it, right? But is it something that it's aspirational for me to buy a private jet? Of course not. Somebody brought, when I just left the bank, brought jewelry. They has Antimo just retired. She has money. Jewelry, $15,000. Could I buy $15,000? Of course I can buy $15,000. I can buy a $100,000 jewel. But is that my priority? No, it's not my priority. And I will not let anybody force me into going to make, only pay care of it. Okay, they've said Antimo is skinny, so don't let me disappoint anybody. And I said, no, I don't want. And the woman said, I turned to the girl that bought that, what you said, I said, yes, it's not that I can't afford it, but I have school fees I'm paying. How many children do you have? I have uncountable children, So I'm just looking that there are better ways of spending money, and but that is not me. If I want, I can buy it, I can. And I know that I'm treating myself. It is fine because I work very, very hard, but I will not let anybody pressurize me into doing things that I don't want to do. No, I won't. So sorry that I went on and on.
No, we're enjoying you. Okay. So yes. There is another question. Antimo, thank you for the session. I've learned so much as an entrepreneur. Street. Okay. Sorry for that.
Yep.
So I would like to ask, how were you able to strike a balance in the home front as a mom and as a career woman? That is from my better half.
Where is she? She's there.
Yes.
Okay. See, better have. Please, Adema, show your face. What's your name?
Mojoin, Auntie Mo is asking for you. So
I see you. Joey, hi, how are you? See, it's a, I say it comes from your choice of spouse. I usually advise young people, be very, very careful in who you choose as your spouse, whether your husband or your wife. You need to choose somebody who supports you, who you're not in competition with, especially for us women, right? I'm very lucky in that my late husband, right, was a confident man, a confident Jebu man. Okwe was a director in the ministry, and you know how much ministry salary is compared to me, and AGM subsequently became GM in a bank, right? And you know how much I will earn. But he was a very comfortable and confident person. So he didn't feel any less of a man because his wife was earning more, because he had other businesses and things like that. So you have to choose somebody who is very, very supportive and who will work with you. And I'm saying that for us women, we need to prioritize and arrange ourselves, right? Like wake up very early, make sure that things are in place. And when I just got married, we used to live very, very far off. So I would leave the house very early, and because of traffic, I won't get home very, very late. But he was also very understanding and get support in place. So whether it is house help, when it is children, find people who are reliable. For me, my go-to person was my sister, because she had her own business and she was able to operate from the house. So when you need help, don't say that, don't be very, don't be shy to ask for help. And at times, make the decision that works best for you, right? If you say, like, look, this career I can't handle with my work, there's nothing wrong in determining to be a homemaker, right? I used to go to the gym every morning before, because like I said, we live very far off. So to be able to avoid traffic, I'll leave home very early. So it was too early to go to the office, so I'll go to the gym. And one day I saw one of my younger colleagues' wife, so Miwa, his wife, Falake. And I said, oh, nice to meet you. So Miwa introduced his wife to me. So I said, what do you do? He said, oh, I don't do anything. I just have a small business. I said, never ever say you don't do anything. Because once you say you don't do anything, people won't value what you do. Just say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner, right? I mean, I pay salaries, even if it is just yourself that you have employed. You're an entrepreneur. So prioritize, make sure you do what works best for you and your family. So it is not everybody. Like my younger sisters, she was a banker, she was a treasurer. After a while, left work because her husband says, okay, no, your closing at night doesn't work for me. And it's because he could support. So she has her own businesses. So don't look at any other business, any other person, how they are managing their life. What works for you is what you should do. And try and, just prioritize at different points in your life. There will be some times that your career will take the back burner and your family will be in the forefront. And when your children are a little bit grown, then you can. But some people, a lot of young people these days manage everything very, very well. They just get the necessary structures in place to be able to help you. Okay?
yeah, okay,
Joey,
thank you.
I hope I answered you.
Yes,
Jimmy has his hand up first before Toye.
Yes, those are diaspora people, our brothers. Jimmy, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Auntie Mo, for this awesome lecture. I'm driving, so but please forgive me. I can still talk and video. I hope you guys can hear me.
We can
Yes,
hear
you
you. Isn't that dangerous?
No, I'm fine. I'm using
Hands-free.
hands-free, so I'm good.
Okay. But don't look at the video.
Okay, I'll try not to. Auntie, thank you so much. Your life is so inspiring. I started my career in banking, interestingly, in Nigeria, as many of us did. Started with Zenith Bank, and I know how hectic the life of a banker can be. For what you've made of your life, of your family life, of your career life, it's really impressive. I have heard about you before this event, or I mean this meeting we are having. So it's great an opportunity to meet you. I'm based out of Dallas in Texas, and you're one of the people that we look at from afar and we respect and we.
So when I come to Dallas, will you host me?
Absolutely, it will be my pleasure. My wife and I we'll be looking forward to that. So the first thing I want to say is what opportunity do we have to enjoy mentoring from you? Some of us are in our mid to senior career level in our different endeavors, and we could really benefit from your wealth of experience. So I'm thinking, possibly on a one-on-one level, on a different level, what kind of mentoring opportunities do you have that we can benefit from? That's one. Then secondly, one of the questions that a lot of professionals in corporate diaspora ask is about how they can integrate back into the Nigerian corporate world. I know that the natural trend is for people in Nigeria to be thinking of how to relocate abroad. But interestingly, I've met a lot of professional Nigerians in corporate US that want to figure out how to integrate back into the Nigerian economy, into the Nigerian market. So is this something that you have seen? And what would be your advice on how to navigate such a process? Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome, Jimmy. For mentorship, I'm easily accessible. I'm busy, but if anybody wants, please, you can get my number from Kunle and just send me a chat. I might not call you immediately, right? Kunle knows that he's been on my case and he keeps saying, Auntie Mo, you haven't responded. Auntie Mo, you haven't responded. But I will get back to it. And he knows that sooner or later, I will get back. So yes, so if you want, I don't mind. So if you want advice, or if you just want to chat, at times you don't even need me to say anything. You just want somebody that you can talk to. Please feel free. I really don't mind. So get my number and send me a message, and we can take it from there. If you want my personal opinion about something, or if I can help you about something, I'll tell you what I can do and what I can't do. As to relocating to Nigeria, honestly, it's not something I've heard a lot about, because, like you said, the drift is usually out of Nigeria, but it's usually for more the junior and medium level people. Senior people, they're not too many who relocate. If they relocate, it's to start businesses and things like that. So I think for you too, when you're coming back, it's all about looking for niches on tapped markets. What are you bringing to the market? What area have you seen that there is a gap that you would like to fill? So when you look at that, then start making your inquiries. And what I would suggest is, do not pack your bag and baggage overnight. A personal So come and test the waters and make sure that things have taken shape before you now decide to permanently relocate. That's just my advice.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate
You're welcome.
that.
Welcome.
So Barrister Toy Shobande, where I don't know where you are, as in you are shortly. So please show your face and
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Antimo. Thank you for your contribution. My question is quick. Thank you for your inspiration, the story. I'm asking that question because when you mentioned the year you left school, and I looked at the average age of everybody on this forum, so I'm asking, how do we handle life transition? Because at this age, the average age here is 41, 42. And this is the period.
Just know that I've left university before you were all born.
Exactly. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said to somebody on this forum. I chatted with somebody. I said, before all of you were born, so you are fully equipped to give us this guidance. So, for example, I've been doing a lot of teachings on transition, talking to people about transition because I went through that in the last 3 years. So I want to ask you, because I believe you have sufficient knowledge about it, how do we handle life transition? Not just limited to career now, not just limited to our businesses or family, but life transitions generally. You've been through all of that, especially losing a spouse, all of that, raising children, leaving you, to go to school, to have their own lives and all that, and have their own things being done and all that. So what can you say to us, man, that we can take away on this?
See, I don't have a manual or a recipe. Everybody's story is different, right? Honestly, I'm not somebody who I'm just, people will say, I'm just fortunate, honestly. I'm just fortunate. It's not through anything special that I'm not a special human being, but maybe God just loves me.
You are blessed with God's grace, and it's evident.
Precisely, that's what I'm saying. Maybe God just loves me. I know that God just loves me, especially because if I tell you what I have been through, that I'm even sitting down here, it is it's God's love. So for me, I just take each day, do my best, and just leave the rest. But I'm very, very clear as to what I want to do. And I plan my time and say, okay, this is what I want to do. Actually, when Fola retired at 47, that was my goal. I want to retire at 47 when I still have the energy to do other things, right? I don't want to be in the bank because the banking industry is very, very young. Is very young, because by the time you're 50, you're a relic. And and people will say, okay, please go and sit down somewhere. And so I didn't want to be, I didn't want to spend my 50th in the banking industry. That was my goal. And I was fortunate that God blessed my goal, and I left at 47. But not everybody gets to do that. So just know what you want to do and what you want to do. We all have different goals in life, and you know what you want and do what suits you best.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mazi Ubani.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening,
Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you for taking our time to bless us this evening from your wealth of experience. I just want to ask a question in relation to what you spoke about in terms of transformational leadership. Okay, my question is about how, from your wealth of experience, I want to believe that you must have, gone through an organization that has this challenge of key man risk. how do you advise that such things be handled in the workplace, especially at management and C-suite level, especially when it's becoming a challenge for the younger generation coming into the organization, and organization is beginning to, struggle with retaining young talents and so on because of key man risk. Now my perspective is not particularly in relation to banking industry. Is other non-banking private sector such as FMCG, agriculture, and so on. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I can only share the experience that I have, right? And okay, so when we're saying not banking, we have customers that run businesses, right? So, for example, the consumer bank customers, right? So they have businesses. So what we try to tell them is that your organization will not last if you don't put structures in place. So for example, if I'm lending a company money that is run by an individual, and the individual is the sole decision maker and everything. So we tell the person to start putting structures in place, because if anything happens to you, the organization will die. And a lot of these small businesses, sole proprietors, have started bringing in their children or have started putting in qualified people into this organization. You know the story of Cosmas Maduka. He has totally put a lot of corporate governance, put professionals in place, and so has Aliko, and so has all these people. So make sure that you put credible people, whether they are related to you or not. See, my own Tuke training outfit, thank God I had somebody who was able to feel feeling for me, because I was ill, very, very ill. I was in the hospital for almost a year some time ago. So if not for her, my company would have died. So always make sure that you have people who can do the work as good, if not better than you. I say, oh, I do. She does a better job than me. And that is my job. I don't have any qualms that my subordinate is better than me. That is my joy, actually. So now she handles everything, and you have to compensate. So yes, she doesn't own shares. So by the time I said, look, you are doing it, so let me give you shares. So she has a commitment, and she knows that she has a stake in the company. So advise your people to put structures in place and hire professionals, and do not hire out of emotions or sentiments. And if your children are not doing the work, fire them, unless you want your organization to die after a time. So sustainability is about putting professionals and making sure that you put proper governance and the proper structures in place. And that is how your organizations can survive over the long period.
Okay, thank you very much, ma. Let me just read comments from the chat room.
Kole, if you don't mind, when it's 7 o'clock, I'm late I should have said my prayers before 6. So when it's 7, I'll have to go. I would have done 2 hours. I see Niyi there. He thinks I haven't seen him, but Niyi, I see you.
I was even going to call him out, and Olumide,
I've seen him.
both of them, I was
I've
going
seen
to call
him.
them out. Yes. So let's just quickly give Michael. Michael, your question in 1 minute so that we can have it. Bless you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. How you doing?
Wow, very fine, ma. Thank you so much. Sorry I joined late, but the little I have had has been so refreshing. And thanks to every organizer of this great talk. Having listened to you the few times I've been online, I want to ask a question about office politics. I know office politics is something that is have been in the public domain and public discourse of late. Ma, in your own words, how were you able to play the office politics in your career? That's question one. That I am asking this question, or how best can you advise us young professionals to play the game of office politics. That's one. Then two, I want to also ask, when is the best time for someone to exit, let's say the 8 to 5, and what in your own words or in your own knowledge is that someone have to put in place before he exit the 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, as case may be. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
And sorry,
yeah.
one more thing, ma'am. And thank you so much for the free mentorship. I'm also interested. I will be. I know some opportunities don't come our way. Always is just a rare privilege. So I'm also listening to your mentorship class per se. Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome. Office politics, I have never been able to play office politics. You know, when we started, there were some people, you know, if you know Tayo, God rest his soul, very fun-loving guy, right? So some of the girls will go to clubs, you know, they'll go, I don't go to a club, I've never visited a club in my life, you know, I'm a bush girl. You know, they'll go to club, they'll drink, they'll smoke, and, you know, Tayo, he can stay up all night, but 7:30 before 8, he's in the office, right? And then they will come late. Guess what? He fired them, right? So I've never been somebody, I don't know how to play office politics. And the first set of promotions in GT, I wasn't promoted. So Fala said, you don't know the office politics. I said, Fala, I'm too old to be able to play office politics. I don't know how to play it. So you are talking to the wrong person. I just know that sooner or later, there is only so much that office politics can help, right? Sooner or later, if you don't back it up with competence, with hard work, it will fail. You can't be promoted beyond your competence. I can't say, I like you, I like you. After a while, you have to help me to be able to help you and make sure that you deserve it. So office politics, I've never been able to play it. I can't, I'm sorry. And you were asking when is a good time. It depends on when is a good time for you. It is an individual choice. And it also depends on what you want to do. I had someone in one of my credit classes, and he said, oh, Antimo, I would really, really love to be doing what you're doing. And I said, can you afford to do what I'm doing? Because, you know, for consulting, for training, it's not easy. Because I remember when I left, a lot of bank CEOs, I knew them. They also, don't Antimo, it is you. I went to Diamond. Okay, so Antimo called the head of HR. This is not my auntie, he's my mommy. So I saw him about a few months and said, oh, geez, your people were just, said, they didn't give me the work. They won't give me because I'm not their friend. So it is only, so the MD can say, give her, but it's the people that are on the desk that will give her the work. The CEO will say, come. And don't worry, Antimo is you. You go to the office, he's gone to Abuja. So there are a lot of people overpromise and underdeliver. And I've learned not to be upset with anybody because they might want to do it, but it's not just within their purview, or maybe the people that work under them that will be directly involved don't want you because they have their own people. There's a bank CEO that is my aburo. Till tomorrow, he doesn't believe that I don't train for his bank. And I don't train for his bank. I've submitted so many proposals and things like that. And I just said, look, so I was telling him that it might not be as easy as you think. So what I would advise is for you to have an egg nest, that whether or not you have this training or you have consulting, you have enough to feed your family to sustain. By the time I left, I was okay. So whether I get a training job or not, even till today, if I get a job, alhamdulillah, most of the job, I haven't even paid my salary. I've been doing this for 50 years. I haven't taken a corporate salary. I've just been accruing salary because we're not making a lot of money. This year has been very good. God has been very, very good to us. But most years, we're making losses. So you have to have enough egg nest to be able to say, okay, I want to branch out on my own. I'm not a trader, so I don't know how to do trading. So find out what you have a passion to do and try to do it to the best of your ability. So when you're leaving paid employment, my advice is for you to have an egg nest so that you can survive while you're building and things. For some people, they take off very, very quickly, right? So when I left, GT was very, very kind to me because I had about 3 or 4 credit classes, not these days that they are just doing FSA for 1 week, right? We used to run 5 weeks credit school. So if you do 3 or 4 for somebody who is retired, that is 4 months in a year. So the other month you'll travel, you'll enjoy yourself. Maybe you're retired, then it is fine now, right? But you need an egg nest for you to be able to survive so that you and your family don't go hungry.
Okay, thank you, ma.
You're very welcome. You're welcome.
So, Ni, you take Ni now. And Olumide Obasemo, please prepare to give us the vote of thanks. Olumide Obasemo. Ni, let's have
Olumide is there. I didn't see him. Where is he?
He's Emperor OOK.
Okay. Ni, oh yeah. Put on your screen, my friend. Put on your screen. Don't dodge me.
Okay, I'll try to do that. Good evening, Azumbo. I'm not dodgy. You know I won't dodge.
Where are you
honestly,
walking in darkness? This place is so dark.
No, is it dark? Okay,
dark.
We're energy conscious in this side of the town. Maybe that's it. The tariff in Nigeria is really harsh these days. So we're energy conscious in my house at the moment.
It's good.
I really want to say thank you absolutely, man. I really want to say thank you for this. Honestly, you've thrown so much light to.
But there's nothing you don't know about me.
I know, which is why I just had to say something to say a very, very big thank you, honestly, to the ones you have trained, the ones you have developed across board that we've also passed through. Honestly, a lot of the things you have said here, some people can't understand or can't appreciate it the way we have experienced it, because I've been also blessed to work with people you've trained and all that, and it is really different. It is how do I put it? It's easy for you to hear your boss say, I don't mind you being better than me. Very few people say that. Very few people. I had an experience with one of your protege, with Wale, and he said a similar thing to me, and I was shocked. So I can for sure say that a lot of us have enjoyed you, and we're still enjoying you, and we thank God for keeping you up till this moment. Honestly, I joined late. I didn't see the alert on time, but honestly, Antimo, I want to say a very, very big thank you for sharing your experience with all of us. Thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome.
Wally, well done. Clay, well done.
Yeah.
Antimo, I'll call you.
Yeah. So Olumide Obasemo, over to you.
Olumide.
Antimo, good evening, ma.
Good evening, dear.
How are you, ma?
I'm okay. You abandoned me, but I'm okay.
No, I didn't abandon you, ma.
You did.
On a very personal note. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. On a personal note, first of all, let me express my condolences over the death of your cousin. When I saw
my
that
nephew.
Sorry, your nephew. I'm sorry. When I saw that video, it was really touching. Interestingly, Canon Kolawole, a vicar, has mental loss. So immediately I used to regularly engage him on discussion. He's such a very brilliant person, even though he's a kid. And I'm really.
He's my brother-in-law.
Yes.
Where are you? There's so much noise.
Okay. It should be my.
It's better now.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kunle, thank you so much for this opportunity. Antimo, I'm your small boy from foreign operations and in those days. And on behalf of every one of us here, we want to say a big thank you for your time, number one, because I know how expensive that is. And I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's worth more than the 100,000 jewelry that you refuse to buy. We are very, yes, $100,000 jewelry. I mean, we have for your time. That is very expensive. I know it's time to go and pray. I know how devout you are. I know how very principled and very purposeful and competent that you are, but your time, very precious and very expensive. And you have given those to us with unfettered access to your wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much. We would love to find another opportunity as soon as possible to enjoy this privilege again. I know you have granted us the free mentoring class. And even though most of us finished, this group is created for people that finished in engineering from IFE. And I know you are our UI big mommy. We will be very glad, as perhaps the only UI person we would love to have back in this forum as soon as possible. And I wish you a very good holiday and experience wherever you are. And may God continue to bless and keep your family and yourself.
Amen.
Thank you, Mom.
Amen. 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 Thank you. Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed this session, and I wish everybody the very, very best of luck.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Mojo Nyola, look after my son. Denny,
yes, mommy. I will. I will give you a call, ma.
Unless I will.
I will, ma. I will, ma. I will.
Jenny, everybody, Demola, thank you very much. Alaba, Emeka, thank you. Mazi, really appreciate you. Benga, Mariam, I wish I had seen you. Brimo.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for having me. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good night. Thank you, Toye. God bless you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye. All right. Can everybody please put on there? Let me see. Let me see people's faces. Okay, I'm seeing Jimmy.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Let me see your videos. Okay, Oluwalo, I've seen you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Jeffrey Fine Girl, put on Alaba, where are you? Denike, thank you, dear. Michael, Mazi, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Okay, thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yeah. Good.
Bye.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Thank you all. See you next time. Next month, probably be having Olumide will probably be having Titi Oshintoki next month or in December.
Titi Oshintoki, are you serious?
Yes.
Okay, that would be nice.
Okay.
That would be nice. All right.
I'll let you know.
All right.
Bringing all GT people. Faculty tech business. Well done.
But you have value.
That would be fun, bro.
Both will be fine.
Okay.
That would be fine too.
Fine.
All right.
Say about that. Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night, man.
Okay, my big brother is also here, Barbara. So Pastor Bio Modular.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Everybody's out. Okay, good night.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Bye.